Hello and welcome. Carrie here from the World Famous Montello Theater and Healing Humanity, the Power of a Proper Human Diet. Thank you all for joining me today. I really appreciate it. For now, anyhow, it's just me solo. I know there's a lot of people on here. They're like, where's Jen? We want to talk to Jen. She might be jumping on later. Hopefully. She's working her butt off right now at home. Today was her day off from the theater. Normally, I'm not here on Friday. She takes Fridays. We both do Saturdays, and then she has off Sunday. We just had a crazy turnover at the theater. We're playing the movie The Fall Guy next weekend. And so Sunday at 4 o'clock is the last movie of the weekend. It's playing above my head right now. We're playing Arthur the King. Is that what it's called? Arthur the King. Yeah. That's what it's called. With Mark Wahlberg. Really good movie. We're playing that right now. And so just at 4 o'clock, we switched the marquee over, the big metal letters. We have to change the posters over. We have to change the phone number over. So we just did all of that. So, and now I'm down here while the movie's playing, talking to all of you. So I'm here to discuss anything. If you guys want to talk about, hopefully you can hear me okay too. Mic's a little high. If you guys want to talk about carnivore or movies, I'm open for anything. So hopefully you can hear me okay. Let me know, where are you guys from? And if you enjoy these live streams, please, the best thing you can do is share them. Post them on Facebook, leave a little thumbs up, like them. That'll help spread the word. I'm getting so many comments, encouraging comments from people that are jumping on. Man, carnivore is going crazy right now. Proper Human Diet is going crazy right now. I was saying this the other day. I heard that if you go on Google Trends and look up carnivore, it's actually more popular or more searched for now than keto is, which is pretty awesome. So let's see who we got in the chat here. If you guys have any questions, post them with a QQQ, and I would love to answer those. Hey, it's Karen Harrington is in here. Donna Peters, my crooked smile is so charming. Well, thank you. I think that's a compliment. Crooked smile. Nice. Carmala said, Aunt B, it was difficult to find beef shanks. Ultimately, I had to get commercial non-organic pastured. I was able to get them. There's this butcher shop in the town over. Jen and I stopped at. I saw them sitting right there. I got the beef shanks, and I cooked the beef shanks 2 or 3 days ago. I think that was a question we had here. Yeah. Carmala, anyone make Mimi's beef shanks yet? I did. She made them. Carmala. I made them last night. So delicious. I added marrow bones to it so they would roast. All of the bones are in the crock pot now for bone broth. Oh, that's awesome. I did the same thing. I made homemade bone broth in the Instapot. And then I cooked the beef shanks in like this enameled Dutch oven. I seared them first. And Mimi's tip was you sear them in tallow and butter. If you do that, the tallow doesn't splatter around as much. I seared them, and then I had them in this little Dutch oven, enameled Dutch oven deal I did it on the stovetop. I didn't put it in the oven. I just let it run for a couple hours, just simmering on low. And then at the end of it, the meat was just falling off. The gravy was my favorite part of that whole thing. I did a video on it, of course. It's probably going to go live later next week. It was fantastic. The gravy is my favorite. I don't know. I don't have gravy a lot on carnivore. And the fact that you don't need flour to thicken it was really a game changer for me. So huge shout out, beef shanks. And they were cheap too. I think it was like $3.50 a pound or something like that. I don't know. For me, obviously for most people, a big treat is a steak. And steak is, of course, very expensive. But if I could choose right now, like, what do you want to eat? Beef shanks or steak? I would choose the beef shanks. They're so good. They're so tender. They're so flavorful. They got the proper fat content to give you what you need on carnivore. And they're just so delicious. It's something a little bit different too than what I'm used to. But let's see. We got Central Indiana, Napa, California, Northern Virginia, time traveler Karen from Connecticut. Lynn Tucker Carnivore, Liberty Hill, Texas. How's it going, Lynn? We got Nancy Chandler. She says she's been sharing on Telegram. Tampa, Florida. Hey, I shouted out my buddy the other day. If you guys there's probably a lot of new people here that weren't there before. Good friend of the channel, Lee Copus, Kent Carnivore. Lee's awesome. He's such a good guy. And man, is he a warrior. He is going through a major surgery right now. He's done a few updates here or there on YouTube, but I sent him an email the other day. I commented on his videos, but I encourage everyone, go over, give him some support, some love. He's so strong. You could just see he is going through an ordeal right now, but he's handling it like a champ. He's such a cool guy. He's got a great YouTube channel, and I really hope to get out to England at some point to film his story. The biggest thing that I learned from Lee, from his story, is I used to be under this, I want to tell everyone about carnivore. I still do. I want to tell everyone, but I've realized some people are never going to do it unless they get hopeless enough, unless they get to the bottom of the barrel, unless they get so sick they have no other alternative. And early on in my carnivore journey, I came to accept that. Like, why even bother? Like, they have to have their why. They have to have their reason. But then I talked to Lee, Kent Carnivore, Lee Copus, and he said, hopefully people don't wait until they lose their colon like he did. He has no colon for the rest of his life. For the rest of his life, he has no colon. And now he's going through this surgery. And he truly believes, and I truly believe, he's done so much research. He's talked to so many people with colitis that have reversed it on carnivore. Had he found carnivore earlier, he would still have his colon now. So there's a lesson, a very important lesson there that I think people need to learn. That's why I get frustrated. Sometimes I get fired up sometimes when people are like, I don't know if I want to do that. What's the big deal? I don't have a powerful enough why. And I'm like, man, I've heard so many stories like Lee's where people, they waited too long. They didn't wait. They just didn't know. Lee didn't know. But you guys know. So someone that knows about this is an option, and they're still like, I'll be okay. I'm not going to, maybe later. It's not that bad. I'm just going to keep going along and eating the standard American garbage. Hopefully you don't do it too long until you end up with something reversible. That's not me being a jerk or being scary. I'm sure that's Lee's biggest wish right now, is that he had heard about this earlier and had the opportunity to reverse this before having to lose his colon. Talk to people that have stage 4 cancer that believe that it was caused from the foods they're eating, chronic inflammation for years and years. I believe I was going down that path totally. I was hugely chronically inflamed before I found carnivore. So hopefully there's a little bit of a lesson there for people that are kind of on the fence. Maybe I should do it. Maybe I shouldn't. For me, it's not even losing my colon or any of that. It's just living long and thriving. That's my why. I'm not worried about losing my colon or cancer. I'm not worried about arthritis. I'm not worried about Alzheimer's. I'm not worried about dementia. Not worried about those things. That's a powerful enough why. Not having to worry about those things, not having to worry about aging. Donna Peters, beautiful, temperate, northwestern Pennsylvania. We got Philly in the house. Tammy Austin Franks, here's a question. How to stay carnivore? I can go maybe a week. Well, maybe what I was just talking about will help you a little bit. Have your powerful why. If you can only go a week, I suspect you need to commit to 30 days. You can do anything for 30 days, and make sure when you say you're going for a week, Tammy, that you are legitimately going for a week carnivore. Some people say they're doing carnivore and they still drink diet soda. Well, there's no carbs in it. What's the problem? The problem is there's sweeteners in there. Artificial sweeteners that trigger the brain, and they trigger that addiction that you have to sugar. We're all addicted to it. And if you have those addictions, it makes it much harder to go longer than a week. So make sure you're going hard carnivore. Make sure you're getting enough fat. If you get any cravings that are side railing you or derailing your journey, eat some bacon. That really helps a lot of people. Get more fat in it. Anybody could do this for 30 days. You can do it for 30 days. Just make sure you're doing it properly and you don't have any of those things in there. I see so many people struggling and just flailing around on carnivore because they keep that stuff in there. They have those artificial sweeteners. I have none of it, and I don't have any of those cravings. And people that don't have those don't have any of those cravings. Maybe you're not doing that, Tammy. Otherwise, give me a little bit more info on why can't you go for more than a week. I get it. The first week for so many is incredibly hard. For me, I went 42 years before my first week on carnivore, and that was 42 years of addiction. standard American diet, eating garbage food, having my body fully inflamed. I did so much damage to my body. The fact that it's going to take longer than a week to reverse some of those things, and I'm going to feel crappy and cruddy for a week, is something that I'm willing to accept. Most people, that first week, 2 weeks is really hard, and it gets super easy once your body adapts and once your body switches into burning fat for fuel and you go into ketosis. Those cravings go away. It gets so much easier. So that's the other thing I would say to you, Tammy, is don't feel like this struggle you're having in your first week is your forever struggle on carnivore. Everyone goes through this the first week or two on carnivore, maybe 3 weeks, and then it goes away forever. It will be unbelievable to you. You will not have cravings. You will not have these crazy sugar cravings or anything like that. It becomes so much easier. You just have to get adapted. Finland in the house, Manitoba, Dayton, Ohio. I was just in Dayton. South Mississippi, Germany. Wow. Greetings from Germany. I visited Germany many, many years ago. Oh my goodness, I'm getting old. 29 years ago, I went to Germany. It was beautiful. I went to Germany, France, and Switzerland. I was very fortunate and blessed. My mom was a travel agent back then, and we went there. She had some special travel agent deal or something, and my sister and her and my stepdad went to Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and France. I wish I did it now instead of then, because I think I was 15 then. I think I was 15. I didn't appreciate it like I would now, for sure. But man, beautiful, beautiful country over there for sure. East Tennessee, Florida. Jackie Fox, how to start carnivore from England? Great question. Here's my answer. Research, research, research. There's so many great videos out there, and I'm not promoting myself. I'm promoting other people right now. Go watch Dr. Barry's video, Carnivore 101, Carnivore Mistakes. Dr. Chafee, he has some excellent videos on getting started on carnivore. It's pretty easy, but there are some nuances. There are some things you need to know. And those are things that are hard to explain in like a comment or very quickly, but they're beautifully explained and they're completely free in some of these videos. Expert, but from a doctor, from someone that walks the walk and talks the talk, and seen thousands of patients do this. So that would be your first step on how to start carnivores. Do all the research, and any questions or concerns you have, I can promise you they've been asked and answered. You're worried about cholesterol. You're worried about fiber. You're worried about these things. Google those things. Google carnivore cholesterol, Dr. Barry, and I guarantee you will get answers to your questions. Ontario, Canada, 155 days on carnivore, down 94 pounds. Congratulations. 9 10-pound bowling balls you are no longer carrying around. Susan Hampton from South Carolina. We got Canton, Connecticut, Denmark, Oklahoma, Australia. The temptation of all the carbs and sugar is powerful. Most won't be able to do it. I think most can do it if they decide to. The temptation is powerful. That's because you're addicted. And there should be no shame in the fact that you watching this, if you're struggling, you're addicted to carbs, you're addicted to sugar. I'm addicted to it. I haven't had any of it in 400 days, but I'm recovering, right? I'm going to be addicted for my entire life. And these foods were engineered to be highly, highly addictive. And you were given these carbs and sugars as a child. Your parents had them and it was normalized, and you go to grandma's house and she gives you birthday cake and it's all normalized. So it's tough getting over it. But I tell you this, once you get over that addiction and you switch from sugar to fat, those cravings go away forever. And it's one of the most beautiful, liberating things in the world. I have no addictions in my life. I'm not addicted to diet soda. I'm not addicted to sugar. I'm not addicted to carbs. No drugs, no alcohol, nothing. I drink water, I eat meat, and I'm thriving. And when you have that addiction, no matter what it is, if it's alcohol, if it's carbs, if it's sugar, if it's drugs, that addiction steals your free will. It drives every decision you make. Look at any alcoholic. Every decision they're making, or every drug addict they're making, is how to get that next high, how to get that next buzz. And it slowly manipulates everything you do. And your path in life, you would have gone this way, you went this way. That addiction is steering you. And even if it's carbs and sugar, people say, oh, you're overreacting, you're dramatizing this stuff. I'm not. Like, carbs and sugar, that addiction is harder for some people to break than drugs and like hard drugs. I've heard people say it over and over again on my channel, but that addiction is driving you until you get over it. And my theory on it is you're not truly living if you have that addiction, because you're in a brain fog, you're in a fatigue, and you're being steered by that addiction instead of being steered by your own free will and decisions. And you just don't have the energy to truly live. Marcus started carnivore 4 days ago, already feeling a difference in gut health and sleep. That's incredible. Just gets better, my friend. You're only 4 days in. That inflammation goes away real quick. That helps with the sleep. Your hormones balance out. That helps with the sleep. And just wait. Keep going. You're going to see more and more improvements. Happy Sunday and Cinco de Mayo to all. How is everyone? Just Susie's thoughts. Thank you, Susie. I am doing wonderful. Happy Sunday to everyone. Every morning I wake up now and just full of gratitude. I'm so thankful for every day. Anthony G, what's your next project around the house? That's a good question. I love it when we switch these questions up. If you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to talk carnivore. I'm happy to talk about the movie theater I'm in the basement of right now. Next big project around the house. We actually just finished a big one and we filmed it. So we got another homesteading video coming up. I've had a few people asking for some more homesteading videos. We put up new gutters. I think that was yesterday. Oh my goodness. Yesterday or the day before. Put up new gutters, cleaned out the gutters. My daughter Katie helped with that. And we're doing a big project at the house right now, organizing stuff. We have so much stuff. A lot of people don't know this, but our primary business is doing video work for Amazon products. Companies will send us stuff like these headphones, which is a huge blessing, but it's also a lot of work. They'll send us these headphones and we got to take photographs. We got to test them. We got to do video, and then we got to submit it all back to the customer, the owner that sells those things. And so we have a lot of odds and ends around the house from stuff we're filming, which is a blessing and a curse, because you get this stuff and then you're not looking at it like, oh, more stuff. You're looking at it like, oh, more work. But that's a big project we're working on right now. In fact, that's what Jen is doing today. And as we speak, Jen may jump on here a little bit later. She's actually cleaning out the garage and organizing and doing some spring cleaning right now. So question, is Holly carnivore? Are you talking about my sister Holly? I think you might be. Yes, my sister Holly, she's pretty much carnivore. She's been testing a few things out. But as far as I can tell, she's carnivore. I say that with some hesitation because she was carnivore for a long time before she even told me, which was pretty cool, actually. Just one day, she's like, I've been doing this for a long time now. She's got a great channel, Life and DIY. Go check it out. She's done a couple of videos on carnivore too. Cup of Sunshine. Question. Vet said no raw meat. True or false? Jen, you looked fabulous last night. Cup of Sunshine. Our vet told us the same thing. Our vets are dumb. I'm sorry, but that is the truth. Like, let's do some Dr. Barry analysis of this. What would your dog have eaten in the wild before he was domesticated or she was domesticated? They would have caught a squirrel. They would have caught in fact, if you let them out in the woods, my dogs, they'll go hunt it down. They'll catch a bunny. They'll catch a squirrel. Are they going to then catch that bunny or squirrel and then make a fire with their little paws and cook it? No, of course not. They're eating it raw. They're eating the bones. They're eating everything. And that's how those animals have evolved since the start of time. There's literally nothing better for them than eating raw meat. Unfortunately, our vets are compromised more than our doctors, in my opinion. And a lot of them mean well. And I don't think they're purposely misleading people. I think they truly believe that raw meat is bad for dogs. If you look at vets and the situation and their schooling and their education and their sponsorships, it's all biased. It's all from these pet food companies that are steering them towards kibble. And whether they're saying this stuff consciously or subconsciously, if you just take a logical step back and look at it, it's like, how can you argue? Dog in the wild, that's exactly what they would be eating, and they would be thriving on that. And the alternative that they're suggesting, it's criminal. Like, if you really look into this, there's some really good YouTube videos. My buddy Larry, Carnivore Soldier, put me onto one of these videos. What goes into dry dog food? It'll make you sick. Like, it literally made me sick looking at what went into dry dog food. It's like it's so fake. It's so ultra processed, nothing in it, with trying to add junk back in after the fact. And then because they're animals, they don't have the same rules that humans have, and look how bad it is for humans. Look at a bowl of Cheerios that is approved. It's on all the shelves all over the stores, yet there's glyphosate in it. They just did a big news thing on Cheerios like 2 or 3 months ago that the pesticides used in it have known causes of fertility issues in people. So you got glyphosate, you got pesticides that cause fertility issues, you got pesticides that have forever chemicals in them that stay in the human body forever. These Cheerios, they're completely devoid of any nutrients. They say on them they're full of vitamins and minerals. Well, all of those vitamins and minerals that were in the oats, those were cooked out when they made them shelf stable. They then fortified them and they added vitamins back in that they're not soluble. They don't uptake in the body like they would in the original way that God intended those oats to be. You're not getting those. So it's just false advertising. My point is, Cheerios are such a joke. And then when you eat them, it's starch, right? You're eating starch, which is a carbohydrate, which in the body, it uptakes just like sugar. When I hear carbohydrate, I think sugar. So you look at the first 3 ingredients on Cheerios, and it's oats, which is a starch, which uptakes like sugar. The second ingredient is literally starch, which is sugar. And the third ingredient is sugar, with some fortified vitamins in after. It's not fit. I wouldn't want to feed my dog Cheerios. Now that's humans, and that's approved for humans. Now they're giving dogs dog food that is very similar to cereal. It's just highly processed, fortified with junk in it after the fact, except for the fact, unlike Cheerios, there's even less restrictions. So one of the things with dogs, for example, that people might not be aware of, and this is me just doing a little research. I'm by no means an expert on this, but the dog food bag that the food comes in, it doesn't have the rules in terms of forever chemicals in the packaging. So I think I heard somewhere it has like 30 times the amount of forever chemicals that human packaging has for like the Cheerios, for example. Cheerios bag, you're going to find forever chemicals in there. The dog bag, they're like, it's a dog. Go nuts, whatever you want in there. So there's all sorts of craziness. Long story short, sorry, I could talk about Cheerios all day. I want to do a whole video on it. I did a video on it before, but I wouldn't feed Cheerios to my dog. I'm ashamed that I fed it to my children, and I wouldn't feed it to my dog, and dog food is 10 times worse than Cheerios. And any vet in their right mind, if they look at this logically, there's no way with a straight face they could say, shouldn't be feeding your dog raw meat. What an absolute joke. Furthermore, I know this is anecdotal, but my dogs on Carnivore are thriving. I hear this, I've heard it 1,000 times now. 1,000 times, all these comments. I have like 80,000 comments. I did a couple of videos on feeding my dogs Carnivore. I get so many comments like, oh my goodness, I thought my dog was arthritic, and now he's not arthritic anymore. His coat's all shiny. He's running around like a puppy again. And those are all the things that are happening for my dog. Yeah. And we recently took him to the vet, and they said the same thing. Oh, you know what they said to us? They said, your dog is doing wonderful. Oh my goodness, he lost so much weight. They weighed him last time, they weighed him this time. Everything they said, oh my goodness, he's looking great. His coat's shiny. Everything looks wonderful. Then Jen told him he's on Carnivore, and then they're like, oh no, you shouldn't. No. You shouldn't do that. No raw meat. That's exactly what happened. He was getting an A+++ until they heard that he was eating raw meat. Then for no reason whatsoever, they're like, oh, I wouldn't do that. Nope, give him back on the kibble. What a joke. Perry Simon, big upcoming movies this summer. Oh yeah, we got some good ones coming up. We have The Fall Guy. That's next week. We have that for 2 weeks. That's with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. Ryan, I think I just said his name wrong, but you guys know who I'm talking about. The guy from The Notebook, I think. That looks like a really fun movie. And then we have Garfield, and man, there's some good ones coming up. I think, do we have Planet of the Apes? There's a bunch of exciting good movies coming up for sure. But yeah, in the immediate, we have The Fall Guy and then Garfield. Hello from rainy Pittsburgh. Hi to Jen, day 29 for me. Oh, congratulations, Michelle. One more day to hit that big 30. Love them. What happened to Couples Carnivore? Jen and you the other day dropped. I don't think we dropped. We were on there for quite a while. We were on there for like 2 hours. Oh, I think you were talking about a different one. Yeah. I'm sorry. Last night we did Carnivore Couples with JT and Anna. But I think a couple days earlier, Jen and I did one in the car. And I think the internet might have dropped out on us near the end of that one. Dave S. back to carnivore keto from 2 years on whole food plant-based. Andy, hi from Madison, Wisconsin. I'm sorry for comments a few weeks ago. Hey, no need to be sorry. I'm not even remember what you said. We get lots of comments all over the place. Andy, yours are usually pretty positive, though, so no worries. Butcher Box is really good. Cost me about $4.50 per month for just me as a single person. I like Butcher Box too. I've done a couple videos with them. I like the taste of the meat. I highly recommend if you can get everything locally, do it that way. I try to get most of my stuff from my neighbors, but it's really hard. They've been sold out a lot. How to deal with stress eating on carnivore. Stress hits hard and food addictions, especially to carbs, kick in, then fall off the wagon. Any suggestions? Have yourself a plan. Like for us, we always have a bunch of bacon. Bacon's the answer to everything in my book. We always have a bunch of bacon in the fridge. If you get stressed or if you get some of those cravings for carbs, like you mentioned, eat some bacon, eat some fat. If you're getting enough fat, you will not get cravings. That is my theory on it. Anyways, I'm not a doctor, but I want someone to prove me wrong on that theory. Well, there's a lot of people that do carnivore and they're just like, I'm carnivore, and they're eating chicken and they're eating fish and they're not getting enough fat. And then they end up failing and they say, I did carnivore just like you and I failed. And then when you dig into it more, sure, if you're eating just animal-based, zero carb, mostly zero carb with just animal-based, but it's really all about the fat. So that would be my biggest advice for you. Make sure you're eating enough fatty meat. And if you get stressed or you get any sort of cravings, up that fat or eat some bacon. Those are the two things that have really helped me out. Having a plan too. In other words, always having some bacon on hand. Like, well, in the early days, I remember a couple times when the girls would cook up like 3 pieces of bacon. I'm like, are you nuts? Just cook the whole pound. There's no such thing as leftover bacon, but we would actually make 2 pounds and leave one in the fridge. Doesn't last long, but when you need it in a pinch, it's there for you. We got Rose from rainy New York. Question from Jasmine. Did Jen try the beef shanks? No, but she absolutely would have. She loves slow cooked meat. I got 3 of them and they cooked down and they were smaller than I thought. But Jen was, I think she was about 2 hours away doing something with family that day when I cooked them. And we ate them all. I felt kind of bad. She had already eaten that day. So she's like, well, if there's some leftovers, I'll have it the next day. Emma and myself and the other girls crushed them all. But Jen wants to try them and she's going to because I'm going to try to do it weekly. We get this thing going weekly. We've been doing like beef stew meat weekly. I want to do bone broth weekly. That's what Mimi does every single week. She does a homemade bone broth. And I want to do beef shanks weekly. I just absolutely love them that much. They're not that expensive. And they passed the test. Like they were fantastic when Mimi made them, but I was able to cook them myself and they turned out really good too. So St. Louis, Central Coast of California. Frankie Dorso III. Question, did you see The Magic Pill? If so, your thoughts and any carnivore documentaries to watch. Frankie, I have seen The Magic Pill and I highly, highly recommend it. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. The Magic Pill came out several years ago. I watched it when it first came out before I decided to do the Healing Humanity documentary. And I recently rewatched The Magic Pill about 6 months ago. Anyone that's interested, if you have an Amazon account, this may have changed, but about 6 months ago when I watched it, it was on Amazon for free. It's called The Magic Pill. I really, really enjoyed it. It's more about keto. It's not carnivore. That's why we're doing Healing Humanity, because I didn't see anything out there more about carnivore, or in other words, a proper human diet. I really love that movie though. In particular, there's a young lady in there, a child that had autism, and she was nonverbal. And she was eating a lot of stuff that I fed my kids or that I ate as well, like goldfish and chicken nuggets and highly processed sugary foods. They took her off that, put her on a strict keto diet, and it was remarkable what happened to her. Started talking again. Nonverbal started talking again. There was some folks, I think in Australia, was it, that were on a horrible, somehow some crappy food got over there and they were just like drinking Coke and eating sugar, and they were all poor metabolic health. They started doing this and they all started thriving. They started eating strict keto. My whole thing with keto is if you're strict keto, that's wonderful. I love Dr. Barry saying it, and that's why we have it in the name of the documentary, The Proper Human Diet. I'm not saying eat carnivore, do this, do that. I'm saying eat what humans were intended. You can do that on keto, but myself and most people don't. And I would argue too, even on keto, the problem with keto is you have all these boxed items. You got keto bread, keto tortillas. Those are all garbage. But even absent those, I have arguments, and people are going to say I'm crazy, but I'm just going to tell you my truth. You guys can do whatever you want, but broccoli, for example, it disgusts me. I hate it. But people would argue, well, it's low carb. Why can't I have it? My argument is so much of the fruit and vegetables and produce we have now, it has glyphosate, it has pesticides, and everyone just gives that a pass. And people are like, well, it's the dose that matters. For me, I was eating most of that before I started carnivore. I did keto and I would have low carb veg, lots of broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, chicken, and I was miserable. And I had all these stomach IBS issues. Why would broccoli be giving me IBS? Why would cauliflower be giving me that? Well, maybe because there's pesticides in it. Maybe because there's glyphosate. Maybe because there's, as Dr. Anthony Chafee talks about it, defense mechanisms in those fruits and vegetables that they don't want to be eaten. I don't know what it is, but the other thing too is so many fruits and vegetables nowadays, they're deficient in nutrients. Like we've heard this over and over again. I heard this when I filmed Maggie for the documentary. She's like, a piece of fruit now is nothing like when she was a child. She's in her 80s now. Fruit right now, she said you'd need to have 7 oranges to equal 1 orange when she was a child because the soil is just lacking in nutrients and minerals. So what are you getting out of this broccoli or the fruit? And is it so valuable and so powerful that it overcomes the fact that you're ingesting a slow poison, pesticides or glyphosate, these forever chemicals that are in the pesticides? So that's my argument that's my argument for a proper human diet. I would argue in some cases, vegetables and fruit that are commercially available to the masses, like 99% of what people eat, that they aren't growing cleanly themselves, those don't qualify as proper human foods for me if you're ingesting a poison, even if it's a small poison or if it's a small amount of pesticide. For me, people always say, like, aren't you going to bring that stuff back? Why wouldn't you bring it back? And my argument is, this is me patting myself on the back right now. This is a Ferrari, right? And I am putting high octane fuel in there for the first time in my life. Fat. That is my fuel. Meat is the most nutrient dense food on the earth that I can eat. For 400 days, I've had nothing but beef, butter, bacon, eggs. High octane fuel, in other words, and I am thriving. Why would I take some broccoli, or in other words, some watered down old gas that's been sitting in a rusty gas can and mix that in with the high octane fuel? For what reason would I do that? And people can't wrap their brain around that, but I get that question 10 times a day. Are you going to add back? Someone was just asking me this morning, you going to add back avocados? You got to add back broccoli at some point, right? Why? Why would I add in that rusty, watered down fuel, subpar fuel, into my high octane fuel, which is fatty meat that I'm absolutely thriving on? All my numbers look great. Oh, and by the way, I have reversed my irregular heartbeat of 43 years. I have reversed my cardiomyopathy, and my congestive heart failure ejection fraction is gone back to normal eating this way. Why would I even tinker with it? My clinical depression I had my entire adult life washed away. Why would I even mess with any of that stuff anymore? Like if it was like, you're going to eat broccoli and it's going to do this for you or do this for you, it's going to give you this that you're missing. I'm not missing anything. I'm absolutely thriving. So why would I add it back? But sorry, I'm going off on a tangent now on the magic pill thing. I guess my point was that documentary is about keto. Keto is great if you can do one ingredient strict foods, but my argument is there are some keto foods that get a complete pass by everybody. They don't get a pass by me. If you're eating keto foods like broccoli or cauliflower or raspberries or whatever, if you're still ingesting pesticides and glyphosate and those things, those aren't proper human foods for me. I don't believe that the human body was designed to ingest toxins and poisons and pesticides, even if it's on a small scale. That's just me, but everyone's different. Nancy Chandler, I've been following Lee. He's definitely a warrior. He did a new video today, and oh my goodness. Jen and I just were like, I wish I could just give that guy a hug, man. He is going through something tough right now, but he is a warrior for sure. Lynn Tucker mentioned, thank you for mentioning Lee as well. Yeah, I love Lee. If you guys aren't subscribed to his channel, go subscribe. He is legit. Like, I was watching him in the early days of carnivore. He is so good at editing together all of these clips from different carnivore experts and doctors. I used to love watching that, but now the last couple of months, I just love hearing him talk and him telling his story. He was on Dr. Barry's channel and told his whole story there as well. Prayers for Lee. Mark Asher, the way. The biggest concern I have about spreading the carnivore news is that it's going to drive the beef prices way out of reach for any of us. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're wrong too. I get this all the time. People are like, oh, you got to stop talking about it. The prices are going to go up, as if everyone's going to suddenly go carnivore. It's going to slowly happen. Will the prices go up? Probably. Maybe they will a little bit. But my thing is, when people start to realize how messed up this is and how screwed up the system is, and they start demanding this, there's going to be more of an incentive for people to produce it. The supply will eventually follow the demand. It's probably going to increase the prices in the immediate, but I'm hoping eventually it'll come down when more people are starting to do this, and when more people start supporting their local farmers. Like, you'd be amazed the prices you can get. This isn't just my local farmer. I've heard this from other people. You can actually shake the hand of your farmer and get a lower price and do that. If everyone overnight went carnivore, yeah, it would be crazy. The prices would go through the roof, but slowly over time, I'm not worried about it, because what am I going to do anyways? What am I going to do about it? There's nothing I can do about it. Adam Nichols, question, Carrie, I know you've been in maintenance for a while. Have you seen any weight fluctuation over the last few months, or did you just get to the low 160s and stay there? I bounce around between 160 and 170. I did an 8-day fast with my buddy Jeff DeProsperous, and I was in the 150s when I did that. It fluctuates around. It's crazy. I was in the 150s, and I usually get back to like right around 162, 164, and I just stay pretty much right there. So no, I haven't seen any major fluctuations. Yeah, there hasn't been any, other than when I'm fasting. I'll drop it off, but I seem to get to this point where I stabilize at a certain point. Boston, Massachusetts. I'm going to be there, my friend, in a few days, filming Professor Thomas Seyfried. What a humbling honor and privilege it is. Like, I'm like, sorry. The movie just got real quiet up there, and Lily texted me. I just got to make sure it didn't turn off or something. Nope, we're good. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. I try not to ever go on my phone, but running a movie theater above us here, so I don't know what she was texting me about. Barry Simon, yeah, I'm going to be interviewing Professor Thomas Seyfried here in a couple of days, and I can't wait. Cancer is such a huge part of this documentary now going forward. It is a reflection of the larger problem for sure. I truly believe most people would not have cancer if they were eating the way we're eating. I truly believe that. I'm going to ask Professor Seyfried about that. I believe it. I believe the foods we're eating are the root causes of the majority of the cancers in this world right now. Chronic inflammation from foods we're never intended to eat. Kingston, New York. Prayers for Lee. Nancy Chandler asks, what is your take on glyphosate connection to our food supply and health issues? I think it's huge. I think it's underreported. I think glyphosate is criminal. I saw some shorts on glyphosate, and it was insane. Just like billions and billions and billions, tons of this stuff all over the place. It's ruining our soil. It's breeding things that they never intended to. And now they'll just douse like corn with glyphosate because they've engineered the corn to be resistant to the glyphosate, but everything else around it just gets completely destroyed, including the soil. And then they got to amend the soil. They got to put more chemicals in the soil. There's a huge connection, I believe, from what I've heard. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert on this, but I believe there's a huge connection between glyphosate and leaky gut. I believe it causes leaky gut. I believe glyphosate also has something to do with breaking the blood-brain barrier that causes mental health issues for people, or contributes to it as well. And I think it gets a complete pass. And people are like, it's just a little bit of glyphosate poison, not too bad. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. And before you know it, like the foods we're eating, it's literally Frankenfood at this point. Sorry, just one second. My daughter Lily was texting me and she's running the show upstairs. So I just want to make sure there wasn't any issue. And she's just texting me something completely random. So there you go. The problem is we have been conditioned to believe anything the medical community tells us. Seems like most of the people I follow, RE Carnivore, are rebels and I think outside the box. Yeah, you're right. I was the same way too. I believed my doctor, man, that guy went to school for a long time. He's here to help me. They're here to help me. Boy, I believe most doctors mean well, but we shouldn't be conditioned to believe anything the medical community tells us. I did that for many years, and now I'm doing the opposite. I'm absolutely thriving. So that's the cool thing about carnivores. They are sort of rebels. You got to be brave. You have to be unique. You have to go against the grain to do this, and not everybody does that. Ribeye Ranger's former police buddy's wife went through all Lee is going through too, and she's trying carnivore now and thinks Lee is very brave to be telling his story. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Lee is awesome, man. I mean, that's not an easy thing, obviously, to go through all of that, but then also share it all, both on the mental health front and then all of the issues he's having with the surgery as well. It's going to help so many people. Like, and why? Why should we have some sort of stigma to talk about mental health or to talk about what Lee's going through, like with his colon and losing his colon? Why should there be any sort of stigma with any of that? Evelyn, hello from Netherlands, carnivore for 4 months. Thanks to your videos, Carrie. Best decision I ever made. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome, Evelyn. Congratulations. Thank you for your nice comment. Aunt B, question. Who is the authority for cancer, a metabolic disease? Need to pass it on as a 4-year-old has cancer. Who is the authority? I don't know if I understand the question fully, but my go-to for cancer is Professor Thomas Seyfried. And if you Google his name, you can actually, his Boston College thing comes up with contact info. He has I believe it's a cancer as a metabolic disease, like pamphlet, like information thing that he put together that he sends out to people. So you could do that. The other thing is if you go to our website, healinghumanity.movie, and you click on cancer, we have a cancer action plan that we put together that has links to Professor Seyfried. It has links to a presentation Dr. Hampton put together for us. So there's also regimens and links to other people that have thrived with cancer as well. I can't wait to hit 100 days without cheat days. Do it. Just do it. You can do anything for 100 days. Why do you have to cheat? I get it. I'm not judging you because I cheated so many times on keto, but ask yourself this. Did you ever have a cheat day and then the next day you're like, yippee, I deserve that and I felt great. I'm so happy I did that cheat day. I can guarantee you, you did not. You were miserable and you had shame and regret and it never felt good and it was never worth it. You are an addict and you can't cheat. Like if you were quitting alcohol, would you cheat? Would you be 2 weeks into it? Like, I'm going to have a little shot. I'm going to have a little beer now because I'm doing so good. This is a serious addiction. It is. It really is. So you have to treat it that way. So no judgment. I cheated a million times when I was doing the keto diet, but don't do it anymore. Some people do it too, and they make they'll plan for it. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to cheat on Saturday. Like, I don't know. I treat it like a highly addictive drug. Ruined my life. I overcame that addiction. Why would I ever go back to it? Hope you are well, Carrier. Nearly 4 months in now. It's changed my life forever. Congratulations. Scott Roberts, 38 days, no weight loss, but no weight gain. Any words of wisdom? Feeling good, sleeping great, just no weight loss thoughts. Thanks in advance. Are you eating cheese or dairy? Because that is the number one thing I could bet you that's probably you're going to say yes. And that usually stalls the weight loss. The other thing I would encourage you to is have you measured because your body composition will change drastically on carnivore. My wife, Jen, she's like, I hardly lost any weight, but she's losing incredible inches. So you may lose fat or water weight and you may gain muscle, which weighs more, or your bone density may change. A lot of stuff can change in the positive, but if you're stalled out for a long time, get rid of the cheese and dairy if you're doing it because that stalls a lot of people out. Lynn Tucker, carnivore. Oh, your Jen short should be seen by everyone. She planted 1,000 carnivore seeds that day, reminiscing about time in the park with your girls. That was powerful. Yeah, Lynn, she was fired up, and I love seeing it because Jen does not show emotion like that. And it happened on carnivore. And I think it was a beautiful, positive thing. She's more in touch now. And she's seen how important this is. I'm like not trying to be like I told you so, but I'm like, you see why I'm so fired up about this, Jen? I have Jen's regrets. For those that don't know, Jen did a video the other day and she was crying. We drove past a park and she's crying because she's like, man, if I would have known about this proper human diet carnivore a long time ago, imagine when the girls were younger. She didn't have any energy. She was always tired. She was always fatigued. She was too heavy to go out and really put in a lot of effort with the girls. She's a great mom. She did everything she could with what she had. And then at the same time, myself, I have those regrets tenfold because I was horribly, horribly depressed and anxious. That's why I'm so fired up about carnivore and all of this. My poor children had to go through life with a father that was sitting on a couch miserable. Why is dad so sad? Why is dad so mad? One of my biggest regrets ever. There's nothing I can do about it. We got a lot of good comments on that video. You can only focus on this point forward. I realize that, but it's hard not to think, man, what if I would have found this earlier? So yeah, she was fired up. I love that too. I mentioned this yesterday, but I think that's so positive as well because people are like, oh, Jen, you're glowing now. And this, and I think that's hormones. When you eat that fatty meat, this is what Dr. Kiltz told me. You eat that fatty meat, your hormones balance. It fixes them. It repairs them because Jen avoided that fatty meat for so long. And so did I. And when your hormones regulate and they get fixed, your sleep improves, everything else improves. Well, when you're having a baby, right? You always see, when you see a woman after delivering a baby, you're always like, they glow. Isn't that similar to the carnivore glow? So I think there's something with the hormones going on too with Jen. Sorry, I'm rambling now, but she's also nesting like around the house. She's like cleaning and organizing stuff like when she was having a baby before. So I'm like, I think her hormones are back where they should be. And that's maybe why she got a little bit of emotion in that video as well. She's more in touch with her emotions possibly on carnivore, which is pretty awesome. She's talking about doing a bigger video and explaining that one a little bit more because obviously that was just a quick 1 minute one, but Aunt B said, thank you, as I'm at a loss for the moment since I just found out. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. So the 4-year-old has cancer. That is just absolutely heartbreaking. If you, Aunt B, email me, homesteadhow@gmail.com. I don't know what questions you would have, but I do have a couple questions. I'm interviewing Professor Seafried for the documentary, and a couple of those questions are on kids because I talked to Dr. Chafee about this too. But it's like, how are children 4 years old? How are they getting cancer? How is that even possible? Wow, Mark was told 3 months ago I would need to remove half of my colon. 2 months infection and pain-free and no longer need my colon removed. That's incredible. That's what Lee was telling me too when I interviewed him. He doesn't think he would have lost his colon if he found carnivore earlier, and he's talked to many individuals with a similar story to yours. They had IBS, IBD, and they lost their colon, or they were going to lose their colon, and they went carnivore and they reversed it, and they didn't need to have the surgery. Cravings are nothing more than your body begging for the correct food. Yeah, I think you're right. Alicia and John, I reversed type 2 diabetes, hypertension, lost from 400 pounds to 155. What? Got off of 5 meds in my first year ketovore. I shifted 99.9% carnivore after the first year. I've maintained 9 to 10% body fat for 4 years. You are a legend. Wow. Congratulations. That is awesome. That is crazy. I interviewed a guy the other day, Hawk Force, my buddy. He's usually on the chat here too. He reversed type 2 diabetes. He's down 60 pounds. And he was like, I thought I was doomed when they diagnosed me with type 2 diabetes. You just have this forever. And he was like, no, it was pretty easy. It's like I went on carnivore a couple of weeks. I reversed it in a couple of weeks after 12 years taking insulin and medication for diabetes. After 12 years, he reversed it. That was his message. Anyone that has type 2 diabetes, What are you doing? Like, it's not that hard. I wonder what the success rate is if you have type 2 diabetes and you go on a proper human diet. 100%? What would it be? I don't know. Ines, question. I'm an obese binge eater. I tend to overeat. What is your recommendation for a person like me? I can't eat until full. Tried carnivore last year for more months. No weight loss. I was on GLP. Oh, GLP for 2 months. One of my big recommendations is join a group. Some of these groups are so helpful, especially when you have in a unique perspective or you're coming at this from a little bit of a different angle. Jen has been shouting out the Meat Sisters on Facebook. She's also done Bella's Steak and Butter Gang. They have a wonderful group. It's like $30. That is something that I would suggest trying as well. You can't eat until full. What is your recommendation for a person like me? I can't eat until full. When you tried carnivore, it's hard for me to make a recommendation. I would suggest joining a group. My follow-up question in this would be, what did you eat when you were on carnivore? Were you getting enough fat? Tried carnivore for more months, no weight loss. I was on GLP 12-1. Yeah, there's so many questions. I'm sorry, I can't give you a better answer. That's why I always suggest the group idea too. Were you eating cheese? Were you eating dairy? Because a lot of people don't have weight loss when they're eating cheese or dairy. What exactly were you eating? Were you eating enough fat? And joining a group would be wonderful because you could post this on there and they'll be like, oh, I had that same issue as you. And then I did this or I did this. You can actually talk to other people that have been in your shoes and walk that walk. All right, let's see where are we at here. Oh my goodness, falling behind again. Falling behind. Wow, guys, chill out on the comments. Sorry, I am so far behind here. Oh my goodness. All right, I don't know what's going on here. Normally it'll auto star the super chats and those aren't showing. I see a couple super chats on the top here, but now I can't find them. I'm gonna scroll down here. New comments. Andy Dixon, 5 pound super chat. 15 days on carnivore so far, and weight is falling off. I had bad psoriasis. How long to heal? Have you heard of anyone else speak about reversing psoriasis? Oh yeah, I've heard about several people. Did Dr. Berry have a video on that? I can't remember, but I would Google Dr. Berry psoriasis or carnivore psoriasis. I have heard of that for several people. How long to heal? I don't know. It's different for everybody. The biggest recommendation is give it 90 days. Go for 30, then you're going to want to do another 30 and another 30. A lot of the inflammation and stuff happens pretty quickly, but some of the skin issues, autoimmune issues can take a little bit longer. So I would give it 90 days to try. And thank you for that super chat. Chris Stearns, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Every penny from those goes to support our documentary. We're going to film Professor Seafried next week. And none of this would happen without generous support. Both super chats and GoFundMe donations. 50 pounds down since January 2nd, 30 to go to my goal weight. Loss is slowing though. Death to Fatty McButterpants. Love it. For those of you that don't know, my former fat self, the girls called me Fatty McButterpants. So you got 30 more to go to your goal weight. It's slowing down though. It is hard, Chris. The first 30 pounds are way easier than the last. Like the last weight you have to lose, your body holds onto it so much. One big piece of advice for you is try switching it up. The human body is amazing, but we get into these routines, especially us carnivores. I know I was in one where every single day I'd be like, I eat 2 patties and I have some scrambled eggs and ground beef. 2 patties, scrambled eggs, same every single day. Your body like figures that out, and sometimes it'll just hold on to the weight. It'll make it harder to lose it. Do a drastic change. Nothing drastic, but like, for example, if you're doing carnivore like that, maybe you try Lion Diet for 3 days, just beef, salt, and water. Get rid of the eggs and the other stuff that you might be eating, or dairy or cheese. If you're doing cheese, stop the cheese, and or fast. That's another one. Maybe you do intermittent fasting. Maybe you do a 24-hour fast, but if you do something to switch it up, usually that weight loss will start continuing again. But it is hard when you get close. Hey, it's Hawk Forest, Carrie, man. I totally appreciate you. I appreciate you too. I did an awesome video. I was just talking about you, Hawk Forest. That video is going to go live next week. I got to pick a day. I'm traveling to film Professor Seafried. I got one going Tuesday, so probably Thursday. I'm looking forward to sharing Hawk's story with the world. You had me fired up and did a great interview, and I really enjoyed talking to Hawk the other day. Oh my gosh, look at it. He's here. I had a feast brought in today, couldn't even handle it. Kent Carnivore. I'm so far behind on these chats. We were talking about you, Lee, earlier, and I was telling people to go give you some love. I watched your short this morning, and you, my friend, are a warrior, an absolute warrior. I can't imagine what you're going through with some of the pain you're experiencing. I try to imagine it because you were talking, I think this morning on your short, you were talking about some like kidney sort of pain. I think you were. I've had 2 kidney stones, and I remember it was just agonizing. And it sounds like your pain is somewhat similar to that you're going through, amongst all the other things with your recovery and the big gash you have. Huge shout out, Kent Carnivore. I said this earlier. There's no new people on here right now. Stop watching this and go watch Kent Carnivore's YouTube channel. He's doing some excellent videos and absolute warrior for sure. I gotta check back. I'm so far behind. I didn't even know Lee was on here. I don't know. They ask me every day, what do you want off the menu? I heard you say, Lee, you had some bone broth and some other things. That's gotta, as if you don't have enough to face right now, you got to try to challenge your way around the menu. Yeah, I think you were talking about having some kidney issues before. All right, I'm completely out of order on these comments. My apologies. I'm excited now because my buddy Lee is in the chat. It looks like Bill is in the chat too. Shout out, Bill. Nancy Chandler asks, have you seen the new Netflix movie with Jerry Seinfeld? Actually, Jen and I started watching that. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. Was it good, bad? I don't know. It seemed like am I watching a commercial for Pop-Tarts or Kellogg's? I don't know. I don't know what it was about, but I haven't watched the whole thing yet. Don't know if I will finish watching it. Jen's in the chat too. Jen, you want to jump on? Just let me know. All right. Wow. I think Jen, we're going to have one of our girls help like moderate some of the comments because I'm lost here. Let's see if I can. I'm going to reel this back in. I want to get to the newer ones. I'm already back at 4:30 here. Getting caught up. Jill, hey, Carrie, I enjoyed the Charleston meetup and dinner was awesome. Thank you, Jill. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the Charleston meetup as well. I was really happy with that dinner too, that Brazilian steakhouse, man, they delivered. We went to another one and we were like, please bring out the ribeye, but this place was just kept bringing it out. Susan, how does someone without lower molars do carnivore? Should they puree their meat? I have a friend with this issue. That's a tough one. I've heard Dr. Barry talk about that. You got bone broth that you could do as well. Eggs, if they're okay eating eggs or scrambled eggs, that could be as well. But otherwise, you're going to have to do a puree or something along those lines. We got Oregon, Wisconsin. What you guys playing now? We're playing Arthur the King, which is with Mark Wahlberg. It's a true story about this guy going on an adventure race, and he brings his dog with, and it's pretty cool story. I like it when it's a true story movie. And it's also entertaining. Moto Mofo, how much harm am I doing by staying with diet soda? Lost 100 pounds already, you legend. 10 pound bowling balls. That's incredible. How much harm are you doing by staying with diet soda? It's tough to say. Like for me, I'd be like, nope, not going to do it. I couldn't do it because the artificial sweetener in diet soda would trigger me. I'm just too big of an addict. Also, there's just garbage in there. You're eating so clean if you're doing mostly carnivore. Getting over that addiction, and believe me, I was horribly addicted to diet soda. I used to drive an hour round trip to go to McDonald's because I was addicted to the Diet Coke at McDonald's. I would drive a half an hour there and half an hour back just to get a soda. That's all I wanted. I was so addicted. Once you get over that addiction, it doesn't take long. It's going to suck. You're going to have some caffeine withdrawals and things like that. You're gonna have a little bit of a headache, but once you get over it, it's gone forever. I don't wake up now and I'm like, oh, I wish I could have a diet soda. I have no want or craving for it at all. Just this stuff, just water. We're playing Fall Guy next Friday, starting on Friday. When's your next theater videos? I don't know. I was gonna kind of do a hybrid one today. I'm not sure. Jen and I were hoping to get some more back in there, but we've been so busy. And it seems like there's more need and want for carnivore talk, especially now that Jen's doing it. Question: if red meat makes some heartburn, can it be temporary? Tomorrow's day 5 on carnivore. Are you drinking water during your meals? Because that causes a lot of people heartburn, that myself included. When I first started carnivore, the first couple days, I would chug the water and I'd be eating steak and drinking water. If you make a window, like don't drink any water, maybe an hour before, an hour after. Try that one time, and I bet you that heartburn will go away for you. Sandra McDonald, question: is it's addiction or something? All my life I've needed or wanted sugar. Now in the void between wake and sleep, I end up in bed with 3 or 4 teaspoons of raw sugar in a glass, eating it with a spoon. Don't do that, Sandra. Yes, you're addicted. It's you shouldn't feel any shame on that either, by the way. Sugar is highly addictive, normalized drug. It lights up the brain like cocaine. Like, I don't know how there's any argument that it's not a drug. The only reason it's not classified a drug is because we've normalized it, and these companies make billions and billions of dollars selling it. It's highly addictive. You got to just stop. Like, if you quit, like I said earlier, if I had quit cocaine or alcohol, I wouldn't just go back to it and have a little bit, like a couple teaspoons of my cocaine in the morning, and then not expect to have those cravings all day long. Causes all sorts of issues with you as well. So hopefully you can get through that. Hey, Jen's here. Do you or Jen ever experience tiredness after eating carnivore early in your journey? I don't know that I did. I don't know. Jen's here. Maybe she can answer for herself too. Jen, if you, I'm not, no pressure, hun, but if you want to jump on here, jump right on. Just log into StreamYard. You got it. You can just click on the thing. Jen's working at home right now, getting some stuff done. We got Bill Knott in the building. We got Lee Kopis in the building. Bill Knott, how's it going, my friend? Bill and I were talking earlier. All right, I'm gonna get caught up on these questions now, I hope. Lee, I'm getting out there. I was talking to Alex Cannon the other day. My buddy, another great. So Kent Carnivore is an amazing YouTube channel. And another one is my buddy Alex Cannon. He's got a great YouTube channel as well out there in the UK. Then you have, oh man, there's so many. There's so many good ones. I am committing that I'm going to get out there at some point and do a meetup, and I'm hoping to film Lee. I absolutely love Lee's story. Very inspirational. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel a little bit of like a kinship or brotherhood there with the depression, anxiety stuff. When I hear Lee talking about the depression he went through, it's just like, it's like I'm reliving it sort of myself, and to be able to overcome that. That's the whole reason I'm doing this documentary. Depression, anxiety, but then we're learning about all of these other issues. So, hey, Carnivore Brothers are here. Another great YouTube channel, Ashley Rhett. How's it going, buddy? Buddies Meeting Wellness. Christy, how's it going? Okay, I'm going to get caught up now. I'm going to get caught up. Dog food is better than Cheerios. Yeah, I would almost rather eat dog food, I think, than Cheerios. Kent Carnivore Lee. I had to say no to like 5 different people about the Ensure shakes. Lee, what is it with these Ensure shakes? They're like statins. I swear, these doctors are getting kickbacks. My buddy Jeff DeProsperous with the stage 4 cancer, this is the thing that sticks in my brain. I know I repeat it all the time, but he goes in for chemotherapy treatment. They're giving him cookies and Ensure. Here, have a bunch of sugar to feed your cancer that clearly thrives on glucose. Cancer thrives on glucose. Here, have some glucose. Like, what are we doing? It's just insanity. Lori said, please talk about electrolytes. I recommend to people, like, I always just speak for myself. When I started carnivore, the first 2 weeks, I took electrolytes. There's Element, there's Keto Chow. I like the Keto Chow, the little drops you put in them. For months now, probably 5 or 6 months, I don't even know. I don't take any electrolytes. I don't take any vitamins. I just eat fatty meat, and I'm thriving, and I drink water. Beef, butter, bacon, eggs. I listen to my body very closely. I'm not telling anyone else what to do. If I got tired or fatigued or had cramps, I would probably take some electrolytes. If I was recovering from some sort of crazy surgery like Lee Kopis is, I would be taking electrolytes. But just for the everyday stuff, I've been fine without them. My biggest thing on carnivore is, man, I'm listening to my body so much more. I can hear my body. Like if I get a cramp or a headache or something, I'd probably have some more electrolytes, but hasn't happened in months. So here we go. Deb 947, 9 months carnivore to clear IBS, which happened in the first 2 weeks. Cleared the IBS in the first 2 weeks, and something I wasn't expecting. My glaucoma is gone. No more eye drops. You can't make this stuff up, folks. The more I hear these carnivore testimonies, it's just incredible. We interviewed Mimi, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's, full-blown stroke, rheumatoid arthritis, all gone. I literally wouldn't believe it if I didn't physically look at her medical records myself. I'm like, how are you going to reverse Parkinson's? How is this possible? Full-blown stroke, rheumatoid arthritis. Your glaucoma is gone. Your IBS is gone. I was diagnosed with IBS and I suffered from it for years and years and years, fumbling around in the dark as the doctors did nothing to help me. And here, first 2 weeks, you overcame it. Similar story for me as well. IBS symptoms went away so quickly eating a proper human diet. Aunt B says, Carrie, how do you process your fresh dog food? I have a big meat grinder. Mine is called the Lem Big Bite 22. It's a big meat grinder, and we do chicken thighs, and we grind them up in there. And when I first started, I'm like, this is going to be such a pain in the butt. It's going to be expensive. It's actually, I believe it's very comparable, if not maybe slightly cheaper than a good quality kibble dog food, which is just garbage. And the amount of time it takes, it's like a pain when we do it, but we do a huge batch. We have a chest freezer in the garage. We will make up enough for a month. So the whole family gets involved and we'll just because that's the biggest pain in the butt with it is you make a big mess, right? Grinding up all this chicken. So we just do it. We'll do it in one day and then we're covered for like a month and we'll just fill the whole freezer up with it. We do chicken thighs, chicken quarters. We'll add some liver. We'll add some chicken feet in there. I think we're going to try to add some red meat in there as well. And we give them red meat every now and then as well. Lee said they wanted him to fast, but then pour Ensure poison in me right before effing up my kidneys. Man. Bill Knott, his normal Tuesday video this week is going to be on Thursday. Speaking of wonderful YouTube channels, there's another one. Stay tuned Thursday. Bill, that actually works better with my schedule. I never miss a Bill Knott video. Seriously, I've never missed one. I'm going to be traveling when Bill's video normally comes up, so Thursday is going to be perfect for me. Thank you for switching it just for me, Bill. No, I'm just joking. What are your thoughts on supplementing carnivore with keto chow? Are you talking about keto chow electrolyte drops? Go for it. Like I said, I've been using those, especially the first couple of weeks on carnivore. Haven't used them in a couple months though. Okay, I'm gonna get caught up here now. Bod XOD, brother, recently I simultaneously received the Holy Spirit and went fully carnivore, and I'm leveling up times 1,000 every day. It's a miracle. I'm just curious. Are you religious? Yes, I am. Thank you. I am. There's something beautiful that happens when you're carnivore too. Like whatever your religion may be or whatever you believe in or don't believe in, it seems like whatever that connection there is so much more powerful, for sure. Do you drink coffee or no coffee? I don't drink coffee. I only drink water. I was never addicted to coffee. I was addicted to diet soda. I quit that and just do water now. Someone suggesting, Lee, maybe you can get some hard-boiled eggs in there. Lee said he had a feast brought in today, couldn't even handle it. Oh, I hope you got some good food, maybe a little bit of relief. Lynn Tucker Carnivore said, Ken Carnivore, so great to hear you're doing better. You're in my newest video. Feel those prayers, brother. Oh, I got to check out that video. I haven't seen that one yet, Lynn. I'm a big fan of the Lynn Tucker videos as well. There's so many good YouTube channels on here. Oh, here's a question. Hi from Australia. Is carnivore good for perimenopause? I would say undoubtedly as a 43-year-old male that should have no business talking about this stuff, 100%. Yes. I've talked to many individuals. One of the first people I had on my channel, I think, was Anita from Ketogenic Woman. She was talking about going through menopause, and all of her peers, non-carnivore on the standard American diet, were suffering so bad. And she was like, it's just a breeze for me. Like, it was hardly anything. So um, Dr. Kiltz. Dr. Kiltz has some good videos, I'm sure, on the topic. I'd recommend maybe checking out some of those. 2018, watched The Magic Pill when it was on Netflix. Said Susan Hampton, the documentary film, and Dr. Barry won me over to strict keto for 5 years, 2023, then switched to carnivore 10 months now. That's awesome, Susan. I love hearing that because that's how that's kind of the reason for the Healing Humanity documentary. I learned about keto through a documentary called Fathead on Netflix like 15 years ago. It was the first time I ever heard about ketogenic diet, and it was through Netflix, surprisingly. And I started doing keto, and I yo-yoed on keto for years and years. I'm so happy I found it and evolved from that to a much more stricter keto in the carnivore diet. But it was a documentary film, and that was the reason I was like, we need a documentary talking about the proper human diet now. We got one on keto. All right, I'm gonna get caught up here now. Nancy said, "This man has no caffeine." Yeah, I have no caffeine anymore. I used to have a lot of it too. Haven't had any caffeine in 400 days. There it is. I'm still so far behind. When do I get my carry hug? There you go. When I see you, brother, I can give you a big hug. Yeah, Jen and I were watching your video this morning, and she looked at me. She's like, "I just want to give him a hug, man. That guy is an absolute warrior." Now you've been sitting in the chat for like 40 minutes waiting me to get down to your comments. Sorry about that. Okay. What was there? Lee said he's currently feeling really good at the moment. That's good to hear. Where am I at here? I'm still half an hour behind. Okay, I'm getting there. What are all your thoughts on pickled eggs? I've never done pickled eggs. I just do hard-boiled eggs. Anyone else got any thoughts on pickled eggs? Hawk Force, thank you so much for that super chat. Appreciate you. Almost there, almost there. Hawk Force, $5 super chat. Totally no reason for anybody to have type 2 diabetes, which I know now. I wish I had known sooner. Yeah, I've got Hawk and I were talking about this. I have so many family members and people I've known my whole life. I'm like, oh, those poor people, they've got this thing forever. There's nothing they can do about it. Nope, turns out pretty easily reversible. For type 2 anyhow. Day 108. Oh yeah, Bella. Here we go. Bella, this was an earlier question. Bella Steak and Butter Gal healed her psoriasis and other skin issues on carnivore. Check out Bella as well. She's got a great YouTube channel too. So many great YouTube channels out there. That's what I love. Like if you have a loved one and you want them to go carnivore, we all have it, right? There's no way you can't say you do carnivore. They never listen. Nobody ever listens, but you can inspire them. And you can find so if your loved one has psoriasis, you can find examples of people with psoriasis like Bella that got some great videos that you could put out in front of them. It almost makes it like that's their idea now because they're inspired and they're fired up to try it versus having you tell them to do it sort of thing. They're probably never going to listen. Hey, Carnivore Brothers, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Carrie and Jen are amazing. Now, like Dr. Barry, can't keep up with comments, so give a super chat with QQQ, but great to support Healing Humanity documentary. Oh, thank you so much. Chris Stearns, I'll change it up. I definitely am a creature of habit. Scrambled eggs and 2 patties, then a ribeye every night since January 2nd. Isn't that funny? It's kind of a blessing too, right? Like you don't have to think about your food. It's just the same thing, and you probably appreciate every bite of it. But I do that same thing too. I think us carnivores are creatures of habits, where I just eat the same thing over and over again. But if you have any sort of stall, that's my big advice. Switch it up just for a little bit. And if you're doing that, it's not that big of a stretch, Chris, to go from scrambled eggs and 2 patties and a ribeye. Just drop the eggs and you're going to go full lion diet. Just say, I'm going to try it for, you're not committing to a lifelong thing. So I'm going to try it for 3 days. Just see how I feel. Usually that, like the body's like, oh, what's going on here? And it'll switch things up. All right. Got to ban a user. There we go. Full on moderation mode here. I'm banning people. I'm answering questions. Carnivore Nurse Kim. Today is my 1-year carniversary. My hubby took me to get some special steaks out of the butcher case. Congratulations, Nurse Kim. That's exciting. What are you doing with your life? I love your username. Carrie, I love that you shout out other carnivore channels. This is powerful to spread the truth and support each other. Yeah, 100%. This isn't like a competitive thing for me. We want to get the word out. That's how we get the word out. I know I've talked about this before, but I just love this concept of positive deviance. Lee Kopis is a positive deviant. Nurse Kim is a positive deviant. I'm a positive deviant. We are doing something outside the social norm, but we're having incredible results. And that's how you make a big scale change is you elevate the voices of positive deviants, people that are doing things differently, but having incredible results. When other people see that, we start to see change. We start to see more healing. One more question, Carrie. Do you add anything to the raw food for your dogs? Just what I mentioned. It's chicken thighs, sometimes liver. Sometimes we'll add some chicken feed or whatever else we get on sale with the dogs. Out of curiosity, what part of Wisconsin are you from? I am from central Wisconsin, about an hour north of Madison, in Montello, World Famous Montello Theater. Question, when will you go to Bill? It would be nice to see the walk through the door. Here's the thing with Bill. I'm hoping to get up there. Hopefully Bill's still on here. I'm hoping to get up there at the end of summer in August because that'll be 1 year. But I am telling Bill, and I had told Bill, I'm like, this is the tricky part. Like initially it was like, it would be great to be there when you walk out into the wilderness, into your freedom. That's baby steps though, right? There's going to be a point when Bill's ready to walk outside, but not ready to like go on a hike or go on a journey. So I keep telling Bill, and we're on the same page. You go outside whenever you are ready. Like if you could set up a chair, a stool, you can go out there and get some fresh air. Please don't do it and hold it over for the documentary just so we can capture that. Like you've been stuck in your house for almost 5 years now. You get out there to get your freedom. When we come and film you, it'll be fun to film you getting out into the actual freedom, like actually being free versus, going out and sitting on a chair. You're going outside, but is that really regaining your freedom? Like going back to your favorite fishing hole or riding your 4-wheeler? So I'm hoping to go back for that whenever Bill's ready, but I'm hoping to go there in August when it'll be 1 year. So we can have a little 1-year update, and wherever Bill's at, but he's doing absolutely incredible right now. Speaking of superheroes, tell Jeff to prosper. Hi from his carnivore family. Absolutely. Huge shout out to Jeff. Nothing but love. He is focused on his health as he should be 100%. I just texted him the other day, told him I was thinking about him. In Fall Guy, the main character makes the statement that your body needs glucose. It was a fun movie, though. I didn't know that. It's funny you mentioned that. I'll probably catch that if I watch. I haven't watched it yet myself. Karen, 21 days carnivore, brain fog is lifting. I'm feeling so much better. That is awesome. You know, right around that 21 day mark, I hear so many reports from people. Everyone's different, of course, but usually around the 3 week mark, people are starting to notice some things where they get that whoa moment, like, whoa, I never felt this way on my medication. What's happening? Do you mix any ground beef for them? Yes, we do from time to time. For the dogs, mostly chicken, but we've been giving them more red meat as well. Papa Carnivore, I love this. Dr. Kilt said this to me too, and I want to, it's ingrained in my brain forever. Carnivore should be called fativore. He says many people starting or doing carnivore aren't eating enough fat. 100%. It's the biggest mistake new carnivores make. They're like, what? I'm eating meat. What is it? No, it's all about the fat. It's all about the fat. Okay, I'm almost caught up now. I'm almost caught up. Yeah, throttle these comments back a little bit. Cooked or raw? The dog food I give is raw. Raw chicken. They eat it straight up raw. Hey, it's our friend Ellie, another great YouTube channel, Nourishment Redacted. Question: in the ravenous hunger stage of carnivore, how long did that last for you? Can't believe how much I am eating now. Size 16 pants now down to size 10. Reached my goal weight. Just got to my 1 year anniversary. You are awesome. Congratulations, first of all. If you have that ravenous hunger, that probably means you've lost most of your body fat. Your body is like, hey, I was burning this body fat, these reserves, and now they're gone. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Eat, 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 eat. And it sends all these signals to your brain to eat more. I went through this and I heard a lot of other carnivores. For me, it lasted several weeks. The biggest thing that helped me is what we just talked about, upping the fat again. Like even myself, I got to keep reminding myself, get more fat, get more fat. So it took a couple weeks for me. It didn't last forever, Ellie, though. I was worried. I was freaking out. I'm like, if I have to eat this much food forever. Like I was ravenously hungry when I got down to sort of my goal weight. I'm like, I don't know if I can sustain this for the rest of my life, but it didn't last forever. And increasing the fat will definitely help. And congratulations. And everyone check out Nourishment Redacted as well. Another great, great YouTube channel. Yeah, there we go. 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, here we go. For the person that was asking about the teeth, someone just had dental surgery, bone broth, eggs, and things like tuna. There's another good one. Soft. Yeah, for if it were me too, another thing I would consider is like the slow cooked meats. Um, Jen, she doesn't like steak mainly, I think, because of the texture. Baby steps, she's working into it, but she's fine with like beef stew meat, and you cook that slow, and it just falls apart. Casey Lee, what are your thoughts on continuing to take a daily multivitamin? Hey, whatever works for you. I'm by no means a doctor or expert. I don't do any of that. I listen to my body. I'm getting everything I need. Get your blood work done. See, are you deficient? Do you need anything? Are you missing anything? My blood work all looked really good, except for my cholesterol was up. I'm going to do a video on that. But there was nothing in any of my work, including my cholesterol, that I was worried about or that I would need to supplement a multivitamin with. I would also be careful with the multivitamins. Like you got to be a detective looking at some of the ingredients in this stuff, even in vitamins. Magnesium citrate helps me poop, which I often need. There you go. A lot of people are deficient in magnesium. I would probably I have taken that too before taking a multivitamin. I don't do that anymore either, but for a while I was taking magnesium sort of regularly. Papa Carnivore said, you don't need it if you eat lots of fatty red meat, egg yolks, and occasionally have liver, which is nature's multivitamin. Yeah, meat, fatty meat, man. It's the most nutritionally dense food you can eat. It's better than any multivitamin out there. Gives you everything you need to live. Can't say that for vegetables. Can't say that for plant-based. Getting there, getting there, getting there. I'm still pretty achy with leg cramps, so I'm still doing daily electrolytes. There you go. I would be doing the same. If I was having cramps, I would be doing the electrolytes, making sure getting enough water and salt. Is honey okay? Honey's not okay for me. Some people, everyone's different, so I'm not judging, but yeah, as carnivore nurse Kim said here, most of us don't eat honey because it's sugar. And I'm addicted to sugar. If I had a little bit of honey, it would be like I'm having a little bit of alcohol after quitting alcohol. So I'm not touching the honey. Don't need it. Got everything I need from meat. Question from Andy: why not give your dogs ground up chicken breast instead of dark meat or leg quarters and thighs, which are higher in fat? I think part of it is the cost. And you're absolutely right. One of the big things with dogs is you don't want to give them too much fat. But I think chicken thighs, I think that's a good ratio. My dogs are thriving on it now. They've been doing it for months and months. And so it seems good. I have heard of people when they start their dog on carnivore, they think like humans, fativore, like we are talking about with Dr. Kiltz, and they'll give the dogs too much fat and the dogs will get bad diarrhea. My dogs haven't had that. So it seems like the chicken thighs are a win-win because it seems like it's the right fat ratio and it's giving them everything they need. And been doing it for months now. They're thriving. They're not getting diarrhea or having any side effects. So getting there, getting there, getting there. Chris said, being an example is so true with my 50-pound loss so far. People have noticed 3 people at my work are now doing carnivore. There you go, buddy. That is awesome. How does that feel too? Like, I'm not being dramatic, but maybe your example will save one of those people's lives or greatly improve their lives or allow them to live a much longer, happier life, thriving instead of in aches and pains and ailments and issues. Carnivore spreading like crazy. I said it earlier in this live stream. Someone was telling me it is trending more than keto at this point. And I'm so blessed. Similar for me. My whole family's doing it now. My wife, Jen, the girls, my mom and stepdad. My mom is about to come up on 1 year. And oh, shout out Emma, my daughter, Emma. Everyone knows Emma, right? She's got her own YouTube channel. Emma's about to hit 1 year. She's working her butt off right now as we speak. She was asking me to give her some footage from when we were in Alaska. She's putting together her 1 year carnivore recap. She fell off for a little bit, but she started a year ago and she's about a year ago. I think it's coming up here pretty soon. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's spreading like wildfire because it works. Now, those 3 people you inspired, Chris, they're going to inspire their friends, family, and peers, and maybe 3 more will start. And because it works, it keeps spreading. You don't see this. You don't see this with Weight Watchers, right? You don't see this with these other crazy diets that are out there because this actually is just what humans were intended to do. I've done so many yo-yo diets over the years, and every one of those, I knew in my head, this isn't sustainable. This seems wrong. I'm counting this. It seems so unnatural. Does anyone feel like that on carnivore? I don't, especially when you're really in it and you're in the flow. It's the most natural thing in the world. Like, I don't even have to think about it. I never had that experience with any other diet before. Did your doctor warn you about carnivore and cholesterol? Oh, yeah, he did. I didn't get to talk to him personally, which I want to. He sent me a letter after the fact. Said my cholesterol numbers are high. And he said, I sat down with him first when he listened to my heartbeat, which has reversed. I had an irregular, erratic heartbeat for 42 years since birth. I was just talking to my mom. She's like, yeah, I remember when you were in kindergarten, I was taking you to the pediatric cardiologist. You had to wear all those heart monitors. My heartbeat was all over the place. It's completely normal on carnivore. My ejection fraction, my congestive heart failure is completely reversed on carnivore. It's unbelievable. It's all documented. I have proof of all of this. I have all of the medical records before and after. Anyhow, when I went in to get my heart tested, they listened to my heartbeat and he said, it's normal. I told him all this stuff. I'm like, listen, dude, and this isn't my longtime doctor, so I can't kill the messenger, but I said, I had clinical depression for 15 years. You guys had me on every medication, anti-anxiety, sleep medication, every SSRI in the world I was on. It did nothing for me. I said, it's all gone. I've just been eating beef, butter, bacon, eggs. I told them for 1 year, about 400 days at that point. I said, my IBS that you guys gave me all sorts of medication for is all gone. I said, I had arthritis in my foot. I was coming into this hospital. You guys were giving me injections. You were giving me steroids. You were giving me all this stuff for my foot, which was gout. And then it wasn't gout. And then you wanted to do surgery. 18 months of suffering. It's all gone. He just kept saying, interesting. Down 100 pounds since your heaviest. Oh, I see. He showed it right in my records at the hospital. There's haters out there on YouTube, right, that said I was exaggerating my results. It's in my freaking medical records. He showed it. He pulled it right up. 262 at my heaviest. I've been down to 157. So what is that? 105 pounds down since my heaviest. I told him all this stuff and he just kept saying, interesting. He didn't say anything else. And it really kind of pissed me off, actually, because someone else is going to go in there like me with IBS or with depression, and he's going to give him some pills. He's not going to tell him any of this. He sent me a letter after I just had my heart echo done, where they determined, and he put it in writing. He said, your heart looks good, and you have no evidence of cardiomyopathy anymore. My ejection fraction went from a 44 to a 55 to 60. It's normal now. And he put that in my records. But then he sent me a separate letter, and he said, but your cholesterol number is high, and you should go back on a regular diet. Is everyone that listening to that right now laughing? A regular diet. I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? What is a regular? What do you want me to go back to eating Cheerios? What do you want? What is a regular diet? You want me to go back to the broccoli and cauliflower and low carb chicken that gave me IBS and gave me arthritis in my foot? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to maybe continuing that conversation with him later. My first question too on the cholesterol is, what about this lean mass hyperresponder study? What do you think of that? I guarantee you I'm going to hear crickets. He's going to be completely clueless to that. The only thing he wants is statins. Push the statins. Carnivore Kim said, Carrie, I just love the episode with Mimi. I can't wait to make her beef shanks recipe. She's incredible. I can't wait to share her story in the documentary. Her story is just insane. Like I said, I really wouldn't believe it if I didn't see all the medical records, what she's been through. She's like our buddy Lee, who's on here right now. She's an absolute warrior. Wakes up every day full of gratitude just to have the sunshine in her eyes. What are your thoughts on pork rinds? I don't have many thoughts on pork rinds. It's fine for a snack if you can get the clean ones. Got to make sure to get the clean ones. There's lots of nasty ones out there. I don't snack on carnivore. I eat a big fatty piece of meat or some eggs, and I don't ever have the need to snack. And I feel like pork rinds are some sort of more of a snack. They're great crushed up though. Mimi did that for us. She crushed them up and used it as sort of a breading on some cube steak, and that was incredible. Has anyone experienced hypoglycemia on carnivore? I have not. Dr. Berg did a really good video on that. Somebody else was asking me about that yesterday, actually. Powerball. Powerball is beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. We got Drew. He says, Carrie, since 325 down 17 pounds. Inflammation nearly gone. Had gout attacks frequently. Not looking for a nap at 3 p.m. and working to put kidney disease into remission. That is incredible, Drew. Just gets better and better. Congratulations. Hey, how are you not having gout attacks if you're eating meat? Don't they tell you, right, that meat's causing those gout attacks? I have heard so many carnivores overcoming gout, which in my opinion is just inflammation. So many of them. Dr. Berry did an excellent video on gout or inflammation in carnivore diet. Cholesterol is a scam. I agree. 100%. Dr. Chafee speaks about that best. I can't wait to interview him for the documentary. That's one of my questions because he puts the argument against cholesterol. His words on it are so good. One of the things that's crazy to me is the majority of people, right, that are having these massive heart attacks, they check their cholesterol numbers. They're not high. The majority of them are going in there. They have low cholesterol numbers and they're having heart disease. It's completely opposite. Like everything in this world, it's completely inverse or opposite from what reality is. Dr. Chafee talks about the, what was that study? The Framingham study. Basically, the correlation is if your cholesterol numbers are higher, you actually live longer. It's like everything is so backwards. It's crazy. How much butter is too much butter? Said Connie Otto of Long and Foster Real Estate. Listen to your body. That's the best advice. Dr. Chafee talks about this too. If you're eating too much fat, butter's fat, right? You're going to get diarrhea. And then you're going to want to cut back a little bit. When you get just a nice regular bowel movement, you're having the right amount of fat. Your number twos are a really good indicator of how much fat you should be having or if you're having too much or too little. Dr. Barry always says, eat till you're comfortably full. I love that advice as well. And I agree with that one too. Awesome. Look, hey, I think I got to the bottom. I think I got all the questions here. 469 people on here. Huge shout out. Thank you guys so much. Listen, if you enjoyed these videos, please share them on Facebook. That really helps. If you want to support the documentary, visit donate.healinghumanity.movie. But most importantly, we got to raise up the voices of these good doctors. Huge shout out to all these doctors. Dr. Chafee. I absolutely love Dr. Hampton, Dr. Barry, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Baker is awesome, incredible. I know I'm missing a whole bunch. Dr. Philip Ovadia. We got to raise these voices up because these guys, like we were talking earlier, you got to be brave to do carnivore. You got to be crazy brave and go against everything to be a doctor and be talking about this stuff and changing lives. These doctors are changing lives. I don't know that I would have started carnivore without these good doctors. I watched Dante Ferrigno and I said, this makes sense, but this is crazy. And I don't know if Dr. Barry wasn't putting his videos out there or these other doctors, I don't know if I would have started. I would have thought this is too crazy. This guy's just an anecdote. And I believe that is true for so many people out there. So we got to support these good doctors and share their social media, like post it, share their stuff on Facebook, comment, thumbs up, like get the word out for sure. So I think I'm going to end it there. I think, oh, wait. Got one more super chat. Thank you so much. Rollerblading Geek, 5 pound super chat. Big fan of you. Lion Diet worked for me in 2022 while had a good life. Doesn't work in 2024 now with bad life situation. Wish you wouldn't play down life situations. What is this? See, this is one where I need more context. I got to be careful how I speak, but what life situation are you in now that you can't do Lion Diet, but you could in 2022? What are you doing alternate to this? The one thing I get with the life situation a lot is work and meat is expensive. So I get that. I know in other countries, meat is more expensive, but I'll tell you what, if I had to pay double the cost of the meat I'm paying right now, it's still cheaper than the standard American diet. When I was on 15 different medications, I had to pay for those medications. I had to go to those doctor's appointments. The other thing that's worth it is when I am on Lion Diet or Carnivore Diet, my brain is working so much better. And my success, like my work, my output, everything in life it's making me more money. It's making me, with the businesses that Jen and I have, like our dog kennel or our movie theater or our Airbnb rental, all of that stuff is more successful. So there's like an opportunity cost of not doing it as well that I would encourage you to think about. But I'd love to talk to you more about it because you said you wish you wouldn't play down the life situation. I don't know if I've talked about that too much on here, but let's see. Oh, you got another one here. What did you say for a follow-up? I'm doing Lion Diet. It isn't working. I'm sofa surfing. I'm depressed and anxious, low income, no access to nature in built up area, etc. Lost my home. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. It sounds like you have a tough situation, but I would encourage you. I think there's more you can do. Sofa surfing. The sun is free. One of the best things you can do is get out in the morning, get that morning sunshine. You don't have access to nature. What you have access to outdoors, don't you? Go out, go for a jog, go for a walk. I know it's easier for me to say than it is for you to do, especially if you're depressed, especially if you're anxious. But I'll tell you what, nothing overcame my depression and anxiety like carnivore, eating the proper human diet and sticking to it. I would encourage you just to try 30 days, stick to it for 30 days strict. Get the natural sunlight. Do the best you can in your situation. There's always some sort of excuse we can make, like I can't do this or I can't do that, but you can get outside and you can get sunshine. You could do push-ups. You could do pull-ups. You don't need a gym membership for any of that. I wouldn't even exercise though until you lose the weight. Not having, with the low income, I get it. That's tough. But what are you got to eat. So what are you eating on your low income now? And what could you do? If it were me, and I can only speak for myself, I was low income and I could only afford hot dogs and bologna, I would do that 1,000,000 times more than the alternate, which is what? The standard American diet. You have some income, you have to pay for some food. I guess you got to weigh it and you got to figure out what you can do to do it. But I get it. The financial thing can be a tough one to overcome. So wishing you well, wishing you the best. And thank you guys all so much for your comments. Thank you so much for your support. I am heading to Boston to film Professor Thomas Seyfried. And I'm going to be doing some members only live streams and some members only videos. Really appreciate all of the support from the members. Like I'm donating thousands of hours of my own time and thousands of dollars of my own time, and we wouldn't be able to do this without the support of the community. That's one of the things I'm really proud about with Healing Humanity. It's completely crowdfunded. So many documentaries in the world that you look at, they're biased because they're being paid for by some corporation or pharmaceutical or some company. Ours isn't. And so I'm very thankful for that. We're going to share the truth in there. So really, really looking forward to filming Professor Seyfried on the cancer front of it. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all. Have a great day. Beep.